Hi everyone, and thanks for being here today. I'm Julie Lucas, and I am a campus outreach coordinator here at the ACM. So I work with students who are interested in studying away on ACM's off-campus study programs. And today I have two alum with me here to talk about their experience studying away with ACM. We have Emma Fredrickson, who is an alum of the ACM Costa Rica program and student at Lawrence University, and Jada Jones, who is an alum of ACM Botswana, and she's a student at Kenyon College. So they'll be talking about why they decide to study away on an ACM program, and once they're done presenting, I'll just give you all some information about next steps to take for those of you who might be interested in applying to either the Spring Costa Rica program or the Spring Botswana program. I do ask you all to please mute your microphones just so we can reduce background noise, and then if you have any questions throughout, feel free to write those in the chat box, and then at the end we will get to all of those questions. And we are recording this and we will be putting it on our website, so if there's anything you would like to check back on, it will be there right after this actually. So I am going to hand it over to Jada, and she's going to get us started.
Yes. Hi everyone. So like Julie said, I'm Jada Jones. I'm a senior at Kenyon College, and my major is international studies, and I'm on the development track, which is why one of the main reasons I chose ACM. So one of the components that there are three that I'll talk about, but the first one is that there's a independent research component that you'll have to do at least for my program there was. And the reason why I like this is because you can choose like any topics you want to choose, and would be able to independently look more into that topic. So in Botswana, I chose to work in like education, like the primary education system there, and I volunteered with one of the schools that was nearby, a primary school, and it was I developed like a really great relationship with the school, and I got to talk with people and practice my Setswana, which is one of the languages spoken in Botswana. And the independent research component really helped me delve deeper into that experience. And the school was located right near like the university, so I was able to walk, and I was able to visit as many times as I wanted to. So yeah, you get a lot of freedom with that, and you have professors who are willing to work closely with you so that you can figure out all the sources you need, and there are different topics you want to look into. So yeah. So yeah, this is a photo of my friends and I. This was an ACM sponsored trip. We went to Victoria Falls, which is in Zimbabwe. It was a very, very awesome experience. We actually started like visiting within Botswana, and then we took a road trip down up to Zimbabwe, and it was like a week-long trip, and it was amazing. So that's one of the things you can look forward to if you choose ACM. Another reason why I really enjoyed the program was that I was able to live in the dorms, as well as we had a weekend homestay with our host family. Like this was a great way to get both experiences on campus. I was able to, mingle and chat with local students as well as other, people within my program. And that was really, really helpful, because if I needed help with homework, or I wanted to go out to the nearby clubs or grocery stores or whatever, they were available right there to me. And I also stayed with a roommate in the dorms. And on the other side of that, I was also able to live with a host family for a weekend, a few days. That was a great experience too, because they basically just took me in for that short time period, and I was able again to practice my Setswana. They showed me different ways to make traditional food, and they were just very, very welcoming. And they didn't know me before, but by the end of that experience, they knew me very well. And then even after that weekend homestay was over, I was still able to go visit them on the weekends, whenever, and just help them out, and just to get to know them more. So that was very, very, very memorable and helpful in ACM. This is a photo of my friends. Some of them were local students, but most of them were students from ACM, and also other programs who chose to study abroad in Botswana. And it's actually my 21st birthday, so I turned 21 in Botswana, and it was a great experience because these are all really, really good friends of mine now, and we just had a great time. And so the final thing among all the other reasons you should choose ACM is that there's a lot of time to, go on different trips that are ACM sponsored, but also trips that you just can go on your own time during breaks and things. So we went to many, many different places. We went to Saroe, which is located in Botswana. We went to Soweto, which is in South Africa, Johannesburg, and then one of the trips, that was my individual trip that I chose to go on my own, was Cape Town in South Africa. And some of my friends, they went to Zimbabwe and Nairobi, and they just went all over. Because we had, breaks like spring break and then weekend breaks that we just had time to travel. So the photo on the top left actually is we went to visit Parliament in Johannesburg, and that was really, really awesome. They showed us around, plenary and places where they make decisions. And then below that was just some of the traditional food eaten in Botswana. And the picture on the right is a picture of my friends and I. This was the students in the ACM 2017 last year, or this past spring, I should say. And we were in Johannesburg, and that was an ACM sponsored trip. So it's just you have a lot of freedom. You have time to travel. You'll be immersed in the culture all the time. And actually, for the ACM sponsored trips, they really, really line up with the classes that you'll take that are provided by ACM. And you're able to discuss the topics and talk about urban life and rural life. So you have lots of time they really, really line up well with what the topics you'll be discussing in classes. So. And the final two pictures, picture on the left actually is a couple of my friends and we decided to run the 10K. Well, I ran the 10K, and some of them, they actually did the half marathon and the marathon. And I had never done a race before or done anything like that. So it was the first time that I've done something like that. And it was a great experience. I was able to train a few weeks after I arrived in Botswana with friends, and I was just exposed to new things as a result of choosing ACM in Botswana. And the picture on the right is a picture, like I was telling you guys, about the weekend trip that we took to Cape Town, South Africa. And this was after we hiked up a mountain. It was called Lion's Head in Cape Town. And that was beautiful, beautiful place, and a really, really great experience. Oh, so now I'm going to hand it over to Emma, and she's going to talk about her experience in Costa Rica.
Hi, everybody. I am a junior at Lawrence. I am a studio art and art history double major and Spanish minor. And because I am a Spanish minor, I was really interested in learning more Spanish, which is one reason why I chose the ACM program. I got to stay with a family. And there's a picture on the bottom, me and my host mom. We visited a volcano together. And then on the bottom left is my little brother, who would never take a photo with me. And also I had a Spanish class. On the last picture is a picture of our Spanish professor. And in classes and traveling around and talking to people, my Spanish language skills improved significantly. And I got immersed in the culture and really had to learn Spanish very fast. And I think it was the best way I could have learned the language. Here is a photo of my friends and I. We also, like Jada was saying, we also got to take a lot of trips. So this was a student trip, and we went on a zip lining hiking adventure. And as we traveled together, you really have to speak Spanish to get along, to get where you need to go, and to meet new people, which is a great experience to talk to different people, different dialects, and really learn how people use the language. Also, I was interested in the ACM program because I was able to do a field research investigation and write a paper, but also I got to do something very interdisciplinary, which a lot of programs don't have, but the ACM programs are really good at letting you combine all your interests in whatever you end up studying. So I am, like I said, I'm an art history major, and but also I'm really into biology and ornithology. So I'm a big bird watcher, which was very exciting to be in Costa Rica. So I did a project looking at birds in the art of Costa Rica, which means I got to go to all museums and look at a bunch of older art, which is the owl from the upper left picture. But I also got to travel around and meet a lot of contemporary artists, which was super exciting and a very unique experience. So from the bottom left, that's a picture of a sloth sculpture from a artist studio. I got to go to his house and get a tour and walk around with him and interview him. And on the right, there's a picture of me interviewing my another host mom that I had when I was in the field researching, but she was also an artist, so I got to know her pretty well. And because I got to travel a lot and meet a lot of people who are interested in birds and biology and art, I also got to go on a lot of hikes and a lot of bird watching trips. So the left picture is a photo of a bird I got to see eating a bumblebee, which was exciting and fun. Also on the right, there's a amazing painting by Mario Mattioli, who I got to meet him and his partner, and they were having an exhibition in a museum, and so they walked me around the museum and talked to me about their art, which is something that I never thought would be able to happen. But yeah, I got to meet a lot of amazing people. I was also interested in the ACM programs because of the small class sizes. I was with one other student for the trimester program, which meant that it was 2 people in all my classes, which meant that I got to have a lot of freedom, and I got to know the professors really well, and we went on a lot of trips together. The photo on the right is from an abandoned tuberculosis ward in prison we went to. In the middle is a volcano from Nicaragua. We got to take about a week-long trip to Nicaragua as an ACM group, which was really interesting and great to be able to go to another country to see what the similarities and differences are. And on the left is a photo of us going on a hike through the jungle. And like I said, it's basically a big family, and it was really nice to be able to get to know all the professors and get to learn about language and the culture from them. And here's a silly, funny photo we all took together.
So thank you so much, Emma and Jada, for sharing your experience with us. We know we love hearing from alum, and it's really helpful for prospective students as well. So we just wanted to share some next steps for those of you who might be interested in studying on ACM program in the future, specifically Spring Costa Rica or Botswana. So it's really important to be talking with people on your campus about your plans to study away, specifically the financial aid office, off-campus study office, and your academic advisor, just to kind of see how that can fit into your college experience. Another thing is just to kind of check out our website, look at what past students have done, whether that is independent study projects or looking at the different classes you can take or student blogs, just to kind of get an idea of what the student experience is and learn more about what you'll be doing there.
Yes. So Julie and myself, my name is Katie Rose Brosnan. Hey, Emma, can talk with interested students on an individual basis. Maybe you're wondering, all right, both of these programs sounded awesome. You're not sure quite which one fits your sort of long-term academic goals or sort of things that you want to learn or talk about language practice. And so we're so happy to answer those questions and also sort of to help you navigate this application process. So feel free to reach out to either of us. Our information is all over the ACM website.
Yes, and my email is right there as well. So now we'll open it up to questions. I know a few of you have already written a few questions, and feel free to write any more in the chat box as well. So we have one question, which is, how do you help a student best choose a program that will fit with their major?
Oh man, that one's so good. I think that part of it depends on what the major is. And so I know that there are some campuses where, for example, if you're a biochemistry major, your department has really specific sort of requirements for the type of program that they want you to be doing. So they want you to be doing something like the Costa Rica spring program, and rather than focusing more on the art side, like Emma did, doing a little bit more on sort of that ecology and biochemical research. And so part of that has to do with sort of what keeps you on track to graduate, because that's absolutely our priority. We think that these programs are an incredible way to complement and enrich your 4 years at your campus, but we want to make sure that you're keeping on schedule. And so part of it's also sort of seeing like, all right, what have you taken already? What have you gotten really interested in? And what things can we sort of supplement through this time abroad or off campus, if you're doing one of the domestic programs, that keeps you moving forward.
Exactly. And to kind of go along with that, for example, besides the classes or kind of integrated in the classes, if a student wants something like field research, then Costa Rica Spring would be a really great program for them. Whereas another program like Chicago would be great for a student who wanted an internship. Or, you know, if you wanted community engagement, maybe that would be good for a student who wanted to go to Botswana. So kind of looking at that as well with the actual classes they're taking.
And another thing is sort of saying, like, where are you coming from? Are you a person who, like, I had a friend who has never left, like, their state before, and when they were, like, first traveling, that was a huge deal, versus somebody who may be an international student, and so you're already studying abroad, or if you have a decent amount of experience with that, there are also sort of talking about your comfort level, what you want to get out of that experience, sort of just the value of study abroad. And so there are people who would much rather be in a place where, like Costa Rica, for example, where you have a host family, because that host family can help you sort of navigate, but then you're also having to pretty intensively practice the language. And so it's often a matter of balancing sort of what you as the student really want, versus sort of which of our many programs sort of gets that perfect tailored fit.
And then we also have a question. This one is for Emma, about kind of your experience taking Spanish classes on your campus to taking those at ACM Costa Rica, and kind of how that was for you.
Sure. I was not feeling especially confident in my Spanish skills before I went to Costa Rica. I was very nervous. I had taken, I think, 3 classes. I had taken some in high school, but I was by no means fluent and can hold a very basic conversation. So I was very nervous going to Costa Rica, but everyone really helped tailor fit the Spanish classes to what you needed to learn, and move at a pace that you can keep up with and that you're comfortable with. And also the Spanish classes, in conjunction with the field research, you learn the vocabulary and the questions and everything that you needed to know to be able to do your research. Also, staying with the host family helped a lot. They taught me so much about Spanish. So of the students I was with, everybody came in a very different level, and no one failed or had a terrible experience. We all ended up alive and all right. And learned.
That's what we want to hear.
Great, thank you. And then we have one for Jada as well, kind of asking about how your experience was taking classes at the university. If you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So comparing like to my experience at Kenyon, at the University of Botswana, the class sizes are really, really big, and I wasn't really used to that in the beginning. So I had to go in after classes to talk to the professor to make sure that I'm reading the right things for class and I'm understanding the material correctly, or in a way that will prepare me for exams and things. But it really wasn't that difficult. The students in my class, it was combination of ACM students as well as many local students who went there from Botswana. And yeah, like it took a little bit of time, but in the end, like Emma said, like we all did well. We had there really weren't that many like group projects, but we did have time to talk with our peers. So yeah, just took a little bit of adjustment, but in the end, it all worked out. So
great, thank you. And then we have one here, kind of for the both of you, kind of asking about how you kind of connected with locals, if you made friends there, and kind of how you got kind of involved. I know that Jada, you had that picture with everyone at the table with students, so I'm not sure. Just to kind of explain about how that came about.
Yeah. So like the first few days, or the first day actually, we arrived in Botswana. They took us like around the city, and we got to go shopping. So that was like a really great way to start talking with people, and they informed us about which restaurants to go to and which food to eat. And it was just, it was great. It's like I said before, like it did take time. Like as the more I started to go to my classes, I got to talk with the same people every day, and then we it just kind of happened. So I think like don't be like, it'll just like freshman year in college, like it takes time. You're kind of like starting over, but people are really welcoming, and they want to know more about you, because as soon as you start speaking and they hear your accent, they'll be like, well, where are you from? And then that'll start a conversation. So yeah, so don't be nervous about that.
Great. Excellent. Good to hear.
And I did not take any classes at the University of Costa Rica, which is just because of my research project. I wasn't on the university side very much. But through my host family, I met a lot of people and like go out to dinner with different people who lived in Costa Rica, also through traveling, and met a lot of people. And like Jada said, everyone's so friendly and really want to know your story and what's going on. Also because I got to meet a lot of artists and interview them. It's a little different. I wouldn't say they were best friends, but I still got to meet a lot of people. And as students from the ACM kind of branched out and made some local friends, we all kind of got to know them together. So a little different, but yeah, nothing really to be too nervous about. It kind of happens naturally, and you just got to put yourself out there and it'll work out.
Great. Wonderful. Thanks for sharing. Let's see, do we have any? Oh, we do have another question here. Do you have alums from Colorado College who we could reach out to? I think it would be interesting to hear about their experience and how it translates to CC Block Plan.
Yes, we absolutely do. There have been plenty of students from a number of different schools who've done this, Colorado absolutely being one of them. And the block question is really interesting. And it's something that I know, like Emma comes from a school with a trimester sort of schedule. And I think, Jada, that Kenyon is on semesters, right?
Yes, right.
Okay, and so there are that one, and then we work with actually 2 schools that are on the block program. And so a lot of our programs sort of have evident, like elements of the block. So for example, in say the Costa Rica fall program, you're spending like a block and a half in Costa Rica taking Spanish. You're spending a block out with your rural host family doing engagement and outreach work, and then you're spending about a block and a half back in Costa Rica. And so there are programs that are sort of more naturally tailored to that, but we can definitely connect you, Amy, with a CC alum who has done this program to sort of say like, oh man, it's a different ballgame to take classes for 10 or 15 weeks than it is to take them for 3 or 4. And vice versa, that people who come from semester or trimester colleges, sort of the pace of study abroad is sometimes sort of goes in these 2 or 3 weeks, sort of like we're intensively focusing on language until we get comfortable with it, and then we're intensively focusing on something else. So sort of everyone's hopefully meeting each other halfway, but definitely we can connect you.
Absolutely. Thanks. All right. I think that those are all of our questions for now. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It was great. And Jada and Emma, thank you so much for sharing your experience. That was great to hear. And Amy, we will be connecting with you shortly. And Hope everyone else has a wonderful day, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions as well.
Thank you, guys.
Bye. Thanks.